right, we're recording. All right, we're doing this. All right, peace everybody. How y'all doing? So I'm here with my twin flame, Archangel Raphael, and today we're doing something different. We're going to be discussing basically the dynamics and the energies of us particularly having the same midheaven, which in this case is midheaven in Sagittarius.
Yes. And so since both of our midheavens are in Sagittarius in the 10th house, we're both creative, artistic teachers. We both have a deep desire for travel and reaching others to share our gifts. He loves astrology. He loves playing guitar, bass, and other instruments, and he loves to share the knowledge that he gains. I love creating art that is usable. I love to create art with words. For example, I make multi-use trays and coasters, and I write poetry and other content. I love growing food and flowers.
In a lot of different ways, there's a lot of different ways that we express ourselves in a way to where these things keep us grounded, because the 10th house in a lot of different ways deals with groundedness energy too, because it's also an earth house. But you know, the way that we express ourselves is very, very, very expressive. And with our career-based endeavors, it's very, expansive because it's Sagittarius, it's the 10th house, it's fire. And then also we're dealing with a lot of energies to where our jobs are not, the typical run-of-the-mill jobs. Our jobs are like very unique, they're very original, and then a lot of these jobs we have to be in energies to where we're constantly learning and we're constantly gaining information, not just like a typical like sit at a desk job to where you're in four corners and you feel boxed in. That's the thing, the Sagittarius archetype does not like to be boxed in at any means necessary.
Right, I would definitely agree with that, baby.
Absolutely.
When I think of the midheaven, what immediately comes to my mind is like inner fulfillment, inner satisfaction, and like your career and personal satisfaction. Depending on the placements of the of your midheaven, depending on the placements of your MC or midheaven, what's in your 10th house, being in alignment with that energy will definitely lead to more of a like fulfilling inner space.
Inner like fulfillment in a lot of different ways. There will be a lot of inner fulfillment too. Now, at the same time, what we're going to be experiencing is basically Jupiterian energies. Jupiter is very heavy when it comes to our midheaven and our 9th house. Our midheaven and the 9th house, not the 9th house, our midheaven is the 10th house, and the 10th house ruler, the midheaven ruler in this case would be Jupiter for both of us. So Jupiter being the midheaven ruler, basically every aspect of us going about our career endeavors and us finding fulfillment in the jobs that make us comfortable, it's always, like I said, we're trying to gain knowledge on the job or we're trying to gain knowledge on the actual job itself, like doing research prior to these particular jobs, or they don't even necessarily have to be jobs. It's just basically ways in like how you create your public image too. There's a lot of different facets of the 10th house and the midheaven to where there's that playing out.
Yeah, and I think people with this placement, like we have, being like fulfilled is going to definitely be important for them, making something into their career. Like it's going to be really, really, really difficult to make a career that you're just jumping into and then try and make yourself like it afterwards with this kind of placement.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with this placement, especially, and now as far as, I want to get to this too, as far as both of us having this dynamic, us having the conjunction of having the same midheaven, you know what I'm saying, even if we may be doing different things, like for example, she makes all-purpose trays, she makes, she makes coasters, and she's into writing, and she's into voice acting too. also in a lot of different ways. So all these are creative expressions in every sense of the word. You know, fire, mutable fire, Sagittarius. This is an energy of expression. Even if you were to have a midheaven in not Sag, Aries or Leo, you would be doing the same energy, just in a different modality. Just with mutable fire, it's like expressing in a lot of different areas of, however you want to express yourself in that career. It's like, but at the same time, you don't want to burn yourself out, because especially us, we have to be careful and kind of narrow it down to certain things. Like I do my astrology, my guitar, and other endeavors that I do, and then you have your writing, your gardening, your voice acting, and other endeavors that you do. So it keeps it balanced. There's not a lot of like overflowing of energies going on with our career, where it's we're still able to have fun and be creative, but at the same time be balanced with what we're doing also.
That's why it's like, since you're so good with guitar and with the bass, that is why it's a good idea for you to be doing your guitar lessons. It's like still exploring a different side of the same energy, not overworking one part.
Exactly.
Or overworking our brain trying to do too many different things. It's still concentrating that energy into one thing, but just maybe a different level of the same thing.
Exactly, a different level of the same thing, but at the same time, that can create wholeness. Like, just like doing things that are creative, like if it's art, if you're drawing, or just create anytime. Basically, this is another good way to put it, just being in a state of creating.
Yeah.
When me and you both, we're always creating something. So it's like, it's not just giving or just that. It's like actually producing and putting in the energy to actually create something tangible or even intangible, and actually be able to present that and be able to like have that Sagittarian preaching energy and that teaching energy, being able to show that to other people, because mutable fire deals with vision. So it's like multiple people have their eyes on what they got going on that you produced.
That's true. I agree. I mean, it's not a lot for me to add on to that, baby.
No, it's all problem. I mean, it's not all problem. It's all good. I be messing up my words. I be stuttering sometimes. But no, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of building. There's just we don't really see a lot of couples building on astrology like all the time, especially like midheaven conjunctions. That's another thing I wanted to add on to. The last point I wanted to add is midheaven conjunction. We both heavily respect each other's, because we're doing it in the same kind of energy. Even if we're not both playing guitar at the same time, or both writing or doing voice acting at the same time, we're both doing something that we're really into, and like we have a heavy interest in even what the other person is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I even was inspired to want to like do some voice things too, and she was inspired to want to play instruments too in a lot of different ways and study astrology. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's even how we goes into how we met each other.
It even goes into how we met each other.
That's another.
And another part, and the last part that's very important about midheaven and Sagittarius is that there's a lot of traveling with this placement too.
Right.
Heavy sense of travel. We both literally like went to each other's state and everything to be able to experience. So us as a whole, we've already done a bunch of traveling and visiting places that we're not even totally familiar with. So it's already, that's midheaven and Sagittarius literally in a nutshell. That's literally like being on a boat in the middle of the ocean and not knowing where you're going, but you know where you're going is to a beautiful place. It's really beautiful. And that's going to conclude our video discussing the midheaven and Sagittarius, and we hope to see y'all soon. Peace.